Okay. The extract that I can see here that is present to me here is belongs to The House of Mango Street by the author Sandra Cisneros. This extract can be found very early in the story, as it is from the chapter My Name, where it is part of the introduction to Esperanza's character, identity, and her personality. And what happens here is that Esperanza explains the story behind her name. The theme. Okay, so here in this part, in this extract, she tells how she inherited her name from her great grandmother, and then she also explains that she wants to change her name because she doesn't like it. The theme that I can find here is identity and social roles. It is relevant in the story because this theme can be seen all throughout this story. It tackle since the story is a coming of age book that tackles the reality of living as a female Latina in the United States, so it is very related to identity. The the theme the theme is reflected. I can't teacher.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
The thing.
The theme is reflected on the second paragraph where it says that both Chinese and Mexican people don't like their women strong. This phrase sets up the fact that many societies don't try to disempower women and give them very enclosed roles, or and this also can be reflected on the fact that this I can't.
So where else is it reflected?
Well, the theme that I found, the identity and social and social roles, can be also found on the very last paragraph where Esperanza says that she would like to baptize herself as under a new name. I think that she says this is because her name holds a value. It represents her grandmother and her fate. So she really wants to escape that because she wants to take control of her own fate and do whatever she wants with her lives and not be locked in her home as her great grandmother did because of her husband. I think that this theme isn't just enclosed to the reality portrayed in this book, as it can be seen on different societies up to this modern day. For example, in my own personal experience, it can be seen among my family, as my grandmother had to drop out of school because she had to fulfill her house chores, which pretty much was set by the Peruvian society.
Okay. So you highlighted the last two lines there, where she said, "I would like to baptize myself under a new name." No, a name more like the real me, the one nobody sees. How do you think? I mean, this whole idea of being seen as a teenager. Do you think teenagers sometimes feel that they are not seen when they want to show their identity?
Wait, excuse me?
Do you think that teenagers sometimes are not seen by people, by adults, for example? They don't see the real person.
What do you mean by that, teacher?
Like what Esperanza says, no? The one that nobody sees. She wants to give herself a new name, the one that no one sees.
Well, I think that I think that this is because many people only see her as a child, especially adults only see her as a young woman that doesn't really have her own identity developed yet. So many adults only see her as a young woman that has to fulfill her role in society. So I think that the reason she says that she wants to have a name more like her, the part of herself that nobody sees, is because her name pretty much represents nothing. And if anything, it represents her grandmother, which is something that doesn't really reflect her personality, as we can see all throughout the book. And yeah, I think that it's pretty much because of the very strict gender roles set by society.
Yeah, when you talk about gender roles, how does her community see strong women?
Well, in her community, being a strong woman is seen with being a strong woman is seen like a bad thing. As we can see, even in this extract, it talks about how being born in the Chinese year of the horse is of bad luck because a horse represents, strength and empowerment. So it's pretty much seen a very bad light. I think, well, this is obviously because on these type of societies, women are seen as people who need to stay at home and pretty much be controlled by, not controlled, but rather need to fulfill, to pretty much have less power than her husband, than their husbands, because yeah.
So why do you think they prefer weak or submissive women?
Well, I think that they prefer weak women because, well, as I said before, they like the roles set by society dictate that the men should be the one, the lead, the one that has all the power, the one that is pretty much in control of all the house, brings the provides things to the family and those other stuff, and the woman just stays home and takes care of the children, the house chores, etc., etc.
And how about your name? How does it represent you?
Personally, it doesn't really represent anything. My parents chose it at random, but I think that it isn't just that, because it was pretty much random when I was born, but now that I'm older, I think that it does represent something. It represents my own identity, both to me, to myself, and the people around him, people around me, people I know. So yeah, I think that my name, it doesn't hold any meaning by itself, but it has developed to hold it.
Yeah, I think that's true what you say. I think as we get older, we begin to identify more with our name, no?
Yeah.
And it becomes an essential part of us, no? And when somebody, how do you feel when somebody doesn't pronounce it correctly?
I don't really care, actually, because I know that it can be a little bit confusing. But yeah, if I'm able to, I will try. I always try to correct them, but also I don't try to be so annoying, so I don't really mind.
Okay. So, have you traveled a lot?
Have I traveled a lot? Well, not really, but I mean, I think I travel like the average person. The average person in around my friends and my family. I used to travel like one time a year before the pandemic, but now I went to the US and Yeah, only the U.S. and other cities in Peru like Cusco and Piura. So yeah.
So how does travel broaden our horizons or our minds?
Oh well, I'd say that trouble broadens them a lot because it pretty much teaches you a lot of things, a new perspective on everything because every country is pretty different and for example, when I went to the U.S. It was certainly very different to Peru. Not only because it is, so to say, more developed than here, but also because the culture is very different and how people behave is very different, and all those sorts of stuff.
When you were in the United States, did you experience any form of racism or discrimination?
Not really, because I think that tourists are actually very welcomed, especially on this modern day. But yeah, I am aware that in some other parts of the U.S., there might be a lot more racial prejudices around different people. So yeah, I think that that's something that you aren't able to see as a tourist, but is certainly present
Yeah.
somewhere.
Which phrase do you think would you prefer? Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter?
Well, when I first heard about the Black Lives Matter thing, I thought that, well, I mean, every single life matters, right?
Uh-huh.
So I thought that it would be better for the phrase to be All Lives Matter. But now after I thought of it, I think that Black Lives Matter is a better phrase because I mean everyone knows that every single life matters. So that's why the Black Lives Matter movement was made in the first place. But the thing is that I think the Black lives should be the highlight of the movement because at the moment they are the more discriminated,
Yeah.
part of society. So I think that they need the highlight, and yeah, that's the reason why I think that Black Lives Matter right now is the better
Yeah.
slogan.
What do you think Anglo-Saxon cultures or white people, we could say, should do to try to make amends to the colonies that
Wait, excuse me.
the countries that they colonized?
Yeah.
What do you think the United States or England should do in order to make amends for the atrocities made in history, in colonization?
I'm not sure because it happened well in the past, but I think that if they really want to apologize, I think that they could make a public speech about it and publicly apologize to everyone, and it can be even aired on television maybe, so that it gets a lot of exposure.
Yeah, I think somebody should come out and say openly.
Maybe the president,
Yeah.
or well, in the case of England, the prime minister.
The prime minister.
Yeah.
So, what about human rights? Who has human rights? I mean, this part about history and colonization, obviously, there's a lot of human rights that were violated. But today, who has human rights?
Well, I believe that pretty much everyone has. No, not pretty much everyone has human rights because, I mean, there's no difference between between each other. So, I mean, you might belong to a different race or be a different gender, but at the end of the day, we're all human and we deserve the right to live, the right to speak, the right to education, food, everything. So, yeah.
How about criminals in prison?
Oh, criminals. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but criminals, I think that they really aren't an exception because they also have the right to live. But yeah, but I think that they should be regulated in some sort of way. I mean, I don't think that they should be really like executed just because they did something wrong. But yeah, in that case, but the thing is that criminals often have harmed other people, whether it's by in an economic way by stealing or in by taking someone's life. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much an exception. I'd say.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. That's the end of the individual world.
Okay.